Charges dropped. Special counsel Robert Mueller moving to dismiss some of the charges against former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates in Virginia as part of his plea deal. This is his co-defendant. Paul Manafort maintains his innocence. Here now is Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst. So the question here, Judge, is who is Mr. Mueller trying to squeeze? Is it Manafort or could it be the president?
I think it's actually both, David. I think he's trying to squeeze Manafort in an effort to get Manafort to issue a guilty plea, in an effort to get Manafort to spill the beans on the president. But he has a lot of ammunition with Gates. Recall that after Manafort was fired and Steve Bannon took over, Gates stayed on. So Gates was there from April of 16 through the end of the transition. And I suspect that Gates has already begun to spill the beans. I suspect that the new indictment of Manafort for allegedly bribing European officials, that information was given to them by Gates.
Now, is it conceivable, because we know that Gates had an ally in Bannon, that Bannon will try to be squeezed somehow by Mueller?
I don't know. Bannon has already spent a day with Mueller. We don't know what questions were asked, and we don't know what questions were answered.
And we certainly don't know of any pending indictment against Bannon.
No, we don't.
All right. Well, he wasn't up to a lot of the stuff dealing with Ukraine that Manafort and Gates was.
But the newest indictments against Manafort, and the ones that were dismissed today against Gates, show financial shenanigans while they were managing the president's campaign.
I understand.
The older ones were all pre-14. These go up to the end of 2016.
You know, we do know that there was another individual who was questioned and subpoenaed by Mueller in this whole Ukrainian world, and that is the brother of the man who ran Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Yes.
So is it possible that Tony Podesta will be indicted in this as well?
It's possible that Bob Mueller is looking at the DNC and what notorious dossier they may have funded.
Well, speaking of dossier, you've had a chance to look at the Democratic memo.
Yes.
In comparing it to the Republican memo, anything jump out at you?
You know, David, I'm down on both of them. I really think that the cherry picking of raw intelligence data for a political narrative is extremely dangerous, and that neither side should have done it. Look, it's obvious there was a basis to surveil Carter Page. The guy boasted, publicly boasted, he was working for the Kremlin while he was an advisor for Donald Trump. That's enough to justify surveillance alone. Why they greased the skids by submitting the dossier to the court, I don't know. I don't think they needed it.
The Democratic memo says FISA was not used to spy on Trump or his campaign. Do you believe that?
No, I don't. No, I don't. From sources that I have spoken to and from public sourced materials, I think that's a highly misleading statement.
That's very interesting. All right, on DACA, finally, one question. President Obama, a lot of judicial experts, and I think you're one of them, say that he usurped his powers when he created DACA. That is, he took away from Congress what should have been their role in dealing with immigration. Now you have judges, not the Supreme Court, because they sent it back to the lower courts, but you have judges saying that somehow this unconstitutional decision by President Obama should be saved.
Has to stay in place. And I'll tell you why. Candidate Trump blasted DACA. President Trump's second month in office extended it for a year. Now, a year later, he's blasting it again. So when you send mixed signals to the courts like that, what do? Keep the status quo until the trials are over? There's a trial in Brooklyn and a trial in San Francisco, or wait until Congress rules? I think the court did the right thing.
All right, Judge Napolitano, great to see you.